The bloated bureaucracy is a big concern for conservatives. They say the federal bureaucratic state has become so huge that it is now a de facto fourth branch of government, and in fact, may be the most powerful branch. As Paul Strand reports, experts will tell you it's completely unconstitutional.
If there's one thing the Founding Fathers cared about, it was liberty. And the last thing they would have wanted was an unelected bureaucracy that could steal your property, your rights, and even your freedom.
It's fifth grade civics all over again, right?
Law School Assistant Dean Richard Kelsey says those Founding Fathers were clear and deliberate about what they'd allow constitutionally.
They took a lot of time trying to figure out how to get this right. Remember, we had the Articles of Confederation first, didn't work. So we got together, had a constitutional convention, and we spent a lot of time trying to figure out how do we make this delicate balance of power.
The Founders decided only the politicians in Congress, those closest to and most easily held accountable by the voters, could make the laws that would reign over and even threaten those voters.
They're supposed to make the laws, propose the laws, be answerable to the people, and the president is not a lawmaker. His job is to either say no to this law or yes to this law.
But the unceasing, cancerous growth of the executive branch's bureaucratic agencies has upset this careful balance and made unelected bureaucrats super powerful.
They're like a fourth branch of government now, and they are unaccountable. They're unanswerable to the voters, and they can get away with just about anything they want without any consequences.
And that's allowed modern presidents to basically take the law into their own hands. And President Obama has made this his forte, unconstitutional though it may be.
What he's doing now is he's saying, hey, Congress isn't working. It's not doing what I want. I'll go around Congress. Nothing allows him to do that. It's not even being hidden anymore. The president has come right out and said, if the Congress won't act, I will act. And he's doing it through these bureaucracies.
And now they literally wield life and death power over people.
They are issuing regulations often with criminal penalties. That's something only Congress should be able to do. And yet these unelected bureaucrats have the ability now to declare that certain actions will potentially land you in jail. That's how powerful they've become.
And in many cases, to be penalized, you don't even have to know you were guilty of disobeying these regulations, which are now basically a new type of law.
The famous saying is ignorance of the law is no defense. But that's before we started making hundreds of thousands of laws every year. In fact, lawmakers are ignorant of the law, right? If you remember from the Affordable Care Act, aka Obamacare, they said we have to pass it before we know what's in it.
And even though Republicans have begun talking about reining in some of the regulatory agencies, critics warn the power of the bureaucrats has been growing for years, and Capitol Hill didn't stop them.
Congress over the years has delegated too much of its power to all of these administrative agencies.
So now you have essentially a shadow government in these federal agencies that is running our country, that's determining how the IRS enforces its tax regulations, how the EPA affects your land and your property and your business.
We are empowering this huge federal government that can restrict our liberties, restrict our freedom, restrict our economic opportunities in this country, and it's almost impossible to fight back against these agencies.
Paul Strand, CBN News, Washington.